ஆண்டு விழா 2022. டாபிக் நாவல். புக் ஜோர்பா த கிரீக். ஆத்தர் நிக்கோஸ் கசன்ஸாயே. ரைட்டர் சித்ரா ராஜ். வாய்ஸ் பை விமலா தேவி. First published in 1946, Zorba the Greek by Nikos Kazantzakis. In it, the character Zorba is George Zorba, the author's close friend. The book is a tribute to George Zorba. In the novel, the narrator is referred to as Boss. When the story starts, the boss, who is 35 years old, is going through an identity crisis. He is very well read, but he has not allowed himself to go through a lot of meaningful and worthwhile life experiences. It's almost as if he is living vicariously through books, so he has decided to put away his books for a while. The boss is also upset because when a close friend was leaving, his parting words were, "Are you bookworm?" which angered him. While waiting out a terrible storm in a cafe in Paris to board a boat that's going to Crete, a 65-year-old man approaches him looking for work. The man, Alex Zoba, has worked in a mine as a cook among other things. The boss hires Zoba to be his cook and to work in his lignite mine in Crete. When they arrive in Crete, they rent a place, and it turns out it's just a hut which the two have to share. Zorba, the Greek contrast, the boss who is bookish, but with Zorba, who is unschooled and uncouth. The book is about the friendship of these two men who have contrasting personalities. The book is very philosophical, and Zorba asks the tough questions such as, why do people die? Where do they come from? And is there a God? All questions that we have asked at some point during our lives. And we can see the split between man's physical and intellectual natures as shown in the book as two contrasting personalities. Additionally, Zoba constantly challenges his employees' belief system and his outlook on life. The boss saying that he has fallen so low that if I had to choose between falling in love with a woman and reading a book about love, I should have chosen the book. This statement speaks volume for the reader about who the boss is at his core. The character Zorba relates an incident where he beats up a former employer for no real reason. He cuts off a part of his index finger on his left hand because he believed it was getting in the way while making pottery. Zorba has three intense lows and highs, and as a reader, I think he is depressive or maybe he is mentally challenged. All through the story, Zorba does bad things and the boss allows him to get away with it. Zorba heads to Candia to secure some cable for a railway to transport timber from the top of a hill. He doesn't return until 12 days later because he is with a woman and spends all the boss's money even though he promised to return right away. To retrieve the boss' money, Zorba blackmails the abbot and the monks at the monastery who they want to lease the land from, and he is always able to justify his action. The boss is passive, telling Zoba to do whatever he wants, but he doesn't want any part of it. As all of us know, fortunately or unfortunately, we are responsible for our employees while they are on the job. He also places too much faith in Zoba's abilities, taking his word for granted that he has certain skills and abilities. When the railway experiment blows up and the boss decides to leave Crete because he has lost everything, Zoba is upset and believes that the boss hasn't really learned the important life lessons. They exchange a few letters over the next few years, and in one of the last letters from Zorba, he invites the boss to visit him a great distance away to see a green stone. Boss declines the invitation, which angers Zorba, who then decides not to write to the boss again. On his deathbed, Zorba dictates a letter to the boss. But I found quite a bit of Zorba, the Greek, to be downright rude, and it may very well be that I am ticked off because of the way that the characters talk about women. I had a hard time with the language used to describe women, and that women have no brains. This classic book is the basis for the Oscar winning film, brings the clarity and the beauty of Kazanzaki's language and the story alive. The author, Nikos Kazantzakis, was born in Crete. He studied literature and art in Germany and Italy philosophy under Henry Bergson in Paris and received his law degree from the University of Athens. The Greek Minister of Education in 1945, Kazantzakis was also a dramatist, translator, poet, and travel writer. Among his most famous works are The Odyssey, A Modern Squill, The Last Temptation of Christ, and The Saviors of God. Thank you for hearing this.